went in last week feeling pretty confident, and as you should, you've been playing pretty good footy, but I guess this happens when you have a young team, that these results can happen sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember the morning of the game, I was actually feeling really confident we're going to be really competitive out there, and we thought we had good things in place, but obviously we just didn't turn up to play. It's very disappointing. Maybe the guys from the week before had a great effort against Clarence for 3 quarters, just thought it'd happen again, and we just got taught a footy lesson, to be perfectly honest.
What's the move been like since then, mate, and early in this week?
As a coaching group, we were quite scathing on Monday night, so we got stuck into them quite a bit, and we actually gave a really solid session, and we backed that up again on Tuesday. So we're just trying to teach the young guys that part of footy is about your preparation and your mindset, so making sure you work hard during the week so you go in with a clear mindset that gives you an opportunity to compete on the weekend. And probably towards the back end of last week, the training on Thursday night, looking at our vision wasn't great, so that probably explained how poor our performance was on Saturday. So we've just made sure Monday and Tuesday the work ethic's been really high, and the boys have come off quite sore on Tuesday because we did put them through a solid regime.
Is that the first time, I'm assuming it's been a rare thing you've had to get stuck into it a bit, with a young group?
No, we've been pretty hard on them because we've got to teach them the values of being a good player at TSL level. So as I've said earlier in the year, we're playing canvas, and these guys have never experienced playing at this level yet. So playing at this level is, you've got to be able to train at a really good level to be able to compete, and we just felt last week that the way we competed, we need to crack the whip a bit and let them well aware of what standards we want as a footy club, and we won't tolerate that type of performance on the weekend. So Tuesday was solid.
Essentially what you're saying is a few of those younger guys switched off and thought the season's over?
Oh, I don't think season over. I think it was more that they've had a good performance the week before, and you've got to think these young guys have been dominant players in their age group, throughout the whole junior career, and now they come and play senior footy, and they have a great performance one week, and they think, oh yeah, I'm travelling all right, it's going to happen again. So we've just got to, our demands as a coaching group are very high, and we expect a lot out of our players. So it's about setting the standards for the rest of this year, which will lead us into next year, being able to kick off in November, and they're fully aware of our expectations. So so I just think the players just maybe got a little bit ahead of themselves in a sense. Oh, well, good last week, it'll just happen this week. But Glenorchy just dominated us from start to finish.
How big a challenge is this weekend, mate?
It's big. Yeah, it's big. But hopefully Couchy's serving aces with Dasher in Melbourne, so he won't be there. He tends to like playing at North Hobart Oval. So it's a big challenge, but they've been the benchmark of the league for many years now, so it's just a good challenge that we can play guys like one of the younger boys will play on Taron Thomas, for instance, and just show how hard Taron works, and then you've got the great forward line as well, so we'll put some matchups in place that the guys are going to learn on work rate and how hard it is to be a good player at this level.
Pushed Glenorchy twice this year in both games. You feel as though you're close to knocking them off, or how are you going into Saturday?
We've had some good tussles, haven't we? And we also played them in a practice match. This is the 4th time we've played them this year, so we've seen each other a fair bit, and all those games, I think maybe the one out of KG5 blew out to about 5 goals, but Anzac Day was a ripping game. It was, I think, 3 goals or goal for goal all day. So I think the way that we play, the way that Glenorchy want to play as well, match up well against each other. So they're generally pretty free-flowing and high-scoring as well, which has been good. If we can replicate our last 30 minutes from Lauderdale for a full game, we could get a good result. And like I say, every week we come in trying to win the game with a plan to win the game. Like I said, we're pretty familiar with each other. So 2 o'clock Saturday, let's just chuck the ball up in the air and see how we go.
Do you feel like the shackles are off a bit because you can't make finals, and we saw that last week, you came from such a big margin down at 3/4 time? Do you feel like there's a little less pressure on you now and you're playing better footy? Or?
Oh, we put pressure on ourselves internally in that we want to win every week. Like that. Yes, we're in a little bit of a development phase, playing some young guys as well, and but part of development's winning and learning to win. So yes, we were 38 points down at 3/4 time, got the scores back level. We've just, as part of your development, you've just got to find a way to win. and find a way to get yourself over the line, because you can build your club and your group off those sorts of games. Like, you know, we saw that against Launceston when we were able to knock them off after. That was probably another tough week for us. You know, that was after we played Lauderdale. We lost Ryan Matthews for the year. MD got rubbed out at the tribunal, and we were able to. All that stuff sort of brought the group closer together. So that's pretty much exciting as well, because when we do have weeks like we might have had this week, the boys really lock in, which is a good sign. So yeah, hopefully we can replicate the Lonnie game and those circumstances on Saturday.
How much of a better side do you think you guys are now as opposed to last time we played Glenorchy 4 weeks ago, start of the season? Do you feel as though you really have improved?
Yeah, I think we have. I suppose in the back end of the year we're tinkering with a lot of stuff and what our structures are, and you know, reintroducing some things that we did early that we shelved for a little bit to look big picture stuff as well. So yeah, we think we match up pretty well with them, and I think that goes with the nature of the year as well, like the games that we've played with them. So yeah.
Sorry?
Wary of a Tigers side that obviously has pushed you a couple of times this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've pushed everybody. Yeah, their good footy's good. And that's sort of what we've been working on as a team is narrowing that the gap between our best footy and, you know, and the rest of our footy. And I think the Tigers are working on exactly the same thing. And, you know, the two games we've played them, the second quarter in both of those, they've really got on top of us and played really good football. So we've seen from those two games, when we slip away from the things we need to do to slow them down a bit, that you pay the price. And so it's kind of last week we had the focus, like, don't give North Hobart any encouragement. You know, the week before Clarence gave them encouragement by kicking points, and they stayed up and about. And I reckon when the Tigers are going well, they get as up and about as anyone in the competition. They have a really good spirit, you know, when they get on a bit of a run. So you've got to be quick to adjust and quick to lock the game down in those moments, or else they'll put a few goals on quickly.
Where do you rank PK at the moment, do you think, in the pecking order, I suppose? Obviously, perfect performance last week. Where do you sit?
Well, we sit third on the ladder, but really, I mean, North Launceston sit above everyone, and then there's 4 teams who are pretty even, who have all been up and down, and I think the season shows that. And then, you know, still got the Tigers, like I said, who've shown they can be competitive with anyone, but you know, so far, you know, they're searching for the ability to do that for long periods, as they did against Launceston down there at the Twin Ovals. So we're around the mark. It all depends on over the next few weeks. You know, can we bridge that gap and become more consistent across 4 quarters? Because I think when we do that, the games we do that, we have really good results. So that's our challenge. We've been working on that for quite a while now. You know, this will be another good step. You know, this is a good game as we start to lead into finals to really test some things out, and the Tigers will change some things up, which will be good for our players to be able to adapt and make those reads out on the ground.
What do you take out of such a big win last week? Is it the fact that the guys went right on with it and didn't switch off at 3/4 time or anything like that?
One thing I noticed sort of watching the video and from both angles is when North Hobart took that mark and the siren went, and our players were genuinely disappointed, and you know, they really put the foot down for 4 quarters. They had an appetite to really suffocate the opposition and you know, defend really hard and attack really smart over 4 quarters. They didn't take the foot off the pedal at all, so that was pleasing. How much else you can take from that game, I'm not sure. But certainly it was good. The guys got to, you know, have a bit of a run around where there wasn't pressure on all the way till the final siren. And yeah, but we've got to make sure that we don't come into this week, you know, like last week the game blew out. We've got to make sure we come in with a really competitive mindset from the start this week.
Considering how fiery it normally is between you 2 clubs, do you have to have a word to the guys and tell them, make sure they don't get sucked into anything this close to finals time and risk weeks?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's something we've been focusing on. We had a couple of weeks there where our discipline was really poor, and we have addressed that. And you know, obviously on the weekend we didn't have any issues, but you wouldn't expect to. But yeah, that's just one for every week. You know, there's a competition where there is quite a bit of niggle here and there, and I sort of laugh because you see this bit of niggle and blokes giving each other, you know, a couple of little ones, and then you talk to them after the game and it's a good mate of theirs. You know, they went to school together or uni together or work together, so it's a funny dynamic in this competition where a lot of the guys know each other well, but out on the field there is that real bit of competitiveness and niggle, so you've got to be the team that does it smarter. Otherwise you get sucked in. You know, if you retaliate, the umpires always see the person who retaliates. You give away the 50s or the reversals, and that hurts you.
Is this a game you can't afford to drop, given what the next fortnight holds if you want to finish top 3?
I wouldn't say that, but we obviously want to win it. You know, you can't. Each game you've got to get caught up on the day in winning that game of footy, but also when the big picture comes into it, you can't get too caught up on one game. You know, there is a bigger picture to this season for us, but really where we're at, we want to go out and play our best footy this weekend, do it over long periods, and if we do that, we should set ourselves up to have a good result.
What was the message from you in the rooms after last weekend's match?
It was a positive one, because I think we probably played our best footy. That was probably our best game for 6 weeks. Large parts of the game we had momentum in the game, and we locked the ball inside our half, and you know, I thought that was a real highlight of our game, our ability to work for each other and defend and create a contest. Just didn't quite get the result. You know, it's probably been an issue of ours throughout the year that, you know, when we do have periods of momentum, and we probably just don't take our opportunities going inside 50. So that was evident on the weekend. If you look at the territory battle, we probably won that, you know, through most of the game, but we just can't put it on the scoreboard. So we need to tinker with that and continue to build that. It was a lot better on the weekend, so it is a step forward. So we were happy with the game, disappointed about the loss, but we're happy with our effort and our defensive ability on the weekend.
I guess we've seen teams go and get blown out of the water up there in the past, so how much confidence does it give you going back, if you have to go back up there in September, knowing you're right in the game for 3/4 time?
Yeah, a lot of confidence. I think PK hit it on the head before, is that North Launceston are the best team at the moment. There's no doubting that. But I think that the 4 teams that are in the finals at this stage are snapping at their heels. The gap has tightened up a lot, and I think it's tightened throughout the course of the year. They had a couple of players out, so did we. So we do take some confidence up, but I think as an overall, the competition's getting tighter at catching North Launceston, which is a good thing because we've been chasing them for 3 years. So I'm glad we're making some form of ground.
So do you think that, we asked Wendy this the other week, do you think they are more beatable than they were last year? Or
I think opposition teams have got better. I don't think they're playing any worse than what they were 3 years ago. They're probably playing better actually. I just think that the competition's improving. They set the standard and we're going at that standard now. So I think teams are learning as well. Every time they play them, they're looking for different ways to beat them. So they're getting hunted every week. Opposition are learning a lot about them. We know exactly, a lot of teams know exactly how they play, strengths, weaknesses. That's what happens when you're the best team in the comp for 3 or 4 years.
Different Lonnie outfit this week, mate, as opposed to the one you faced up here last time. They look like they're coming out of their funk and are starting to...
Yeah, they look good, don't they? I looked at their list and they're 22, it's really strong. They've got stars on each line. I don't think they're playing different footy in terms of their style and system, but they've changed personnel around. So, you know, Joby Harper in the back line's a pretty good one. He still gets his 30 disposals every week, and he plays at centre half back. You know, Ruller's getting some really good drive down the back line. Dunellan's playing a shutdown role down there now. He's had a really good start here in the midfield before he got injured, but he's added something to their back line. And obviously Thorpe's higher up the ground with Riley behind him. So Thorpe has added a different dimension to his game. He can actually hit up at the ball and catch it now, but he also can go back to goal, which makes it a lot harder as well. So, and Dylan Riley is probably one of the best players in the comp. You know, if you play permanent midfield, I reckon we'd probably having the conversation, he may be the best player in the competition. But him at full forward is a very tough matchup.